A control chart is shown below, which plots several samples and their deviations from the mean. So let's say that this is a chart for a gear that's a part of a manufacturing process, and the gear is designed to have a diameter of 3 inches. So the standard deviation of the process happens to be 0.4 inches, even though a plant would like to manufacture all parts to be identical. In reality, that doesn't happen. There's always going to be a little bit of variation. And so the process is considered out of control if 2 or more points out of 3 consecutive ones lie more than 2 standard deviations away from the mean. It could also be considered out of control if a point lies more than 3 standard deviations away from the mean. So let's take a look at the first chart here and try to decide whether it would be considered out of control or not, and why. Well, the first sample here was very close to the actual mean. The mean is the 3 here. And so that's a good gear from what we can tell. But check out observation number 2. It is outside the first marking here, but that marking is not actually the first standard deviation. It's the second one. And the next marking is the third. So that point is more than 2 standard deviations away from the mean. And so is this one. So for that reason, we'd say out of control. I mean, it's true that the process did come back here. This is a good gear, close to the mean. Here, this one's close to the mean, somewhat. This one's very close. And this one's, that's almost 2 standard deviations below. But there were a lot of good gears that were made. But unfortunately, because these two were so far above, they're too large. The gear is supposed to be 3 inches, but these are more than, certainly more than 3.5, even close to 4 inches in diameter, and that's too big. So it's an out of control process for that reason. 2 points in 3 consecutive points are more than 2 standard deviations above the mean. And that's the problem. Next control chart shows liquid dispenser volumes. Liquid dispenser is designed to have a volume of 1.0 liters. And the standard deviation of the process is 0.2 liters. Now, we see that the first point is quite close to the average. This one might be a little more than 1 standard deviation away. And this one looks like about 2 standard deviations away. But then the process comes back into control here. and we didn't get 2 consecutive points that were more than 2 standard deviations away. So we're good so far. But down here we see that's a point that's more than 3 standard deviations below the mean. It's supposed to have a volume of 1 liter, but this one has much less than that. It's way too small of a volume. So this is an out of control process as well. It's because 1 point is more than 3 standard deviations below the mean.